Welcome, syncretists, friends, lovers of truth. It's great to be with you today. Again, we are going to be featuring some health great products as I do.
There we go. There's Ray.
Excuse me. As we do every Tuesday before my lesson, unmute. Stay muted? Yeah, okay. All right, sorry about that, guys. Just a technical issue that just jumped up. Hey, Ray, welcome. Sheldon. And we also have Steve Scott with us. So I'm very excited, very, very, very excited. We've had a few shows, Ray and I. Sheldon's joined us as well. So most of the listeners, they're already prepped. They know what's coming. And I know the ones who have already joined, knew me, as I have, know who Steve Scott is. So without further ado, perhaps, shall we introduce you there, Scott? And would you like to address our audience here at Syncretism? You need to be unmuted.
Before you do, just before you do, Santos, just to let you know, Stephen, I'd like to introduce you to my dear friend, Sheldon. Sheldon and I have been friends for ever, probably 30 years. And he's responsible for getting us this beautiful gentleman called Santos Bonacci. So we're very honored to have him. I wanted to introduce Sheldon to you so you know who's responsible for the phenomenal growth of what's been happening with Santos team. And he's got so many customers and so many distributors. It's just been a huge blessing. So Sheldon, this is Stephen. Stephen, this is Sheldon.
Good to see you, bud.
Nice. I'm glad that happened on my show. Woohoo! Big connection today. Big connection. Hey,
absolutely.
Well, guess what? You know, I'm in the Yucatan Peninsula here, right? And I just learned yesterday that the 25th of this month, 2 days ago, was what they call the day out of time. And so the 26th of July every year, according to the Mayans, is the first day of the year.
Wow.
Yeah. So I always knew that the Egyptians had the same teaching. And it all has to do with Sirius, the star rising, on the 24th or the 25th of July every year. And then the dog days begin, you know, the hot dog days, because Sirius is the dog, right? So the Mayans, I just found out, 2 days ago, and I posted it. But I've known about the Egyptians knowing this for 30 years. And then I realized the Egyptians and the Mayans are one and the same. Pyramids, technology, etc. So really very exciting.
And of course, that's also my birthday. Of course, how important is that on the 25th of July?
The day out of time.
When you said the 25th, I go the day out of time and go, well, of course, that's my birthday.
There you go.
Superstar. All right. Hey, and can I know your star sign there, please, Scott, before we start? I'm an astrologer.
Oh, my sign?
Sagittarius?
Leo.
Leo.
Oh, you're a Leo like me, Stephen. No wonder I love you so much.
Well, we do personality typings where you're either a lion, otter, beaver, or golden retriever. And in that sense, I'm a lion as well.
Yes.
So,
me
most
too.
entrepreneurs are.
Yes. Very true. Very true.
Like it.
Well, I think without any further ado, Stephen, you know, there's so much can be said about you. We could spend, 20 minutes just talking about the incredible journey you've had in your life. And I'm very honored. As I know more about Stephen, I just get more and more excited. I mean, you're also a prolific writer. You've written, 20 plus books.
No, 14. Don't exaggerate.
14? Oh, okay. I thought I heard 20. So 14. Okay. Well,
my publisher wants the next 7, so that'll take me to 21.
That'll take you to the 21. There you go. So I'm really excited about your new book coming out. Maybe if you don't mind, just share that. And you know, I know it's coming out and people can take some pre-orders. So maybe just talk about that for a second or two, because I really believe that the Joseph principles that you're writing, that you just wrote, is going to be so profound for people in all walks of life. So would you mind maybe just sharing just about that, and then maybe give us your background? And then what I'd like you to do, Santos, if you can formulate some questions from what Stephen says, then we can always ask him a few questions afterwards. How does that sound, Santos?
Great. Let's do that.
All right, go ahead, Stephen, take it away.
Sure. Well, it'll become referred to probably as the butterfly book, because it's got a half butterfly on the cover. That represents how most people go through life. The butterfly with one wing completed, but without the other wing, can't get off the ground. All he can do is flop around in circles. And that's how most people go through life. But when we come into intimacy with God, true intimacy, instead of knowing about God, get to know God intimately, then all of a sudden we become a complete person. And instead of staying on the ground going in circles, we can take flight. The book takes 12 principles out of the life of Joseph in the Old Testament. And he had amazing qualities. He had a faith in the sovereignty and love of God, even though he got sold into slavery at the age of 17. He had an intimacy with God where God was able to whisper in his ear quite often. He had the ability to envision something that didn't exist and then put together a vision map or a plan that would turn that vision into reality. He had this incredible forgiveness that very few people have ever experienced. And so what the book does, it's got 12 principles from his life, but he never taught us how to have those principles. Jesus did. So the book is really the backdrop is Joseph's life and these 12 principles, but the teachings on how to bring those into our life. How do I forgive the unforgivable? How do I get through grief? Grief so severe because somebody just lost a child. How do we hear the whispers of God? How do we actually discover God has a love language? If you know the book, the 5 love languages, well, God actually has a 6th that is his. And how can we love him using his love language? And that's one of the things that really brings us into intimacy with God. And so it's a very pragmatic book. The best-selling book I ever wrote was called The Richest Man Who Ever Lived, which was on the book of Proverbs. And that is still in hardcover. How many years? Let's see, 18 years.
Wow.
14 years after it was published. Random House was the publisher. It's in 30 languages. It's the best-selling book ever written on the book of Proverbs. But it was very pragmatic and it was life-changing. I think this book is going to duplicate that. I think this book will be in every language and ultimately, because though people have a religious experience and they know about God, the real joy, the real fulfillment, the real success comes as we, instead of just settling for knowing about him, we actually come into an intimate union with him. And that's what the book's about, how we can do that. So that's a nutshell on the book.
Beautiful.
Wow. Beautiful. Wonderful. What a nice dimension to your story that I didn't know about. I'm really glad that you come from a solid spiritual base. It's beautiful. I love Christianity.
Well, I was an atheist until I was 16. And are you from UK or Australia or New Zealand?
Australia.
Okay. When I was 16, a man that was a brilliant scientist, truly one of the top scientists in the United States, who had been an atheist, was talking to me, ran out to his car and brought me a book written by an Englishman who had been an atheist for the first 30 years of his life named C.S. Lewis. And the book was called Mere Christianity. And that book God used to really persuade me that he existed and that I could know him personally. And so that changed my whole life. That was 58 years ago.
My goodness.
So God has had 58 years to perform miracles and prove himself over and over and over and over again, thousands of times in my life. And so that's my first few books were on how to achieve extraordinary outcomes, starting on book number 4, which was the book on Proverbs. Every book after that has been about the life and teachings of Christ. So here we are.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Well,
Exquisite.
maybe that's probably a good segue, Stephen, into bringing you up to how you got involved in this beautiful glutathione discovery. We know, of course, it's in every cell of our body. And if you would mind, maybe what we'll do, though, before we do, if that's okay with everybody, I would just like to do a little, we have to take care of housekeeping and do a little preamble prior to Stephen speaking, that these statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration, and that our products, the NutraSwish and the NuMe Skin, are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, and or prevent disease. So that way, as Stephen goes into depth today on the beautiful, beautiful chemistry of glutathione and L-cysteine and these wonderful nutrients that are in NutraSwish and NuMe Skin, maybe start where you're comfortable, Stephen, as far as how this came about.
Okay.
I know you were kind of semi-retired, and then, of course, with this incredible breakthrough, you came out of retirement, and praise God, thank you for doing that, because I know you don't need this, but I know that you do need helping people, which we know our NuMe products do, both from a health perspective, but also the blessing of being able, what you've created with our compensation model, how people can be remunerated for just simply sharing with family and friends and business colleagues is brilliant. I've been in this networking field 37 years. I've never seen a comp plan so fair for everyone, especially the everyday person who's just struggling to make ends meet. And what you've done with that,
struggles are getting greater.
Oh, even more, yes.
Yeah.
Going crazy.
Basically what happened, I was in the television industry marketing products. We'd find products, breakthrough products the world had never heard of. I would then sign a celebrity. I had 92 celebrities under contract, big celebrities, Charlton Heston, Tom Selleck, Michael Landon. Lots and lots of celebrities. And we'd find a breakthrough product, marry it to a celebrity. Then I would do an infomercial and commercials and put them on TV. And we would sell literally billions of dollars worth of products. And in 2006, I met a scientist, medical doctor from the Mayo Clinic who had his own clinic in Florida, brilliant researcher. He had authored over 100 papers that had been peer-reviewed and published. And his focus was on glutathione. I had never heard of the word. And as I looked at the clinical studies, there's over 169,000 published studies on glutathione. And but as I began to see studies, I saw, holy mackerel, it is the key to the vault of human health, longevity, performance, mental performance, physical performance, recovery, the immune system, you name it, it touched everything. So I became hooked on it. I retired from my television company and started focusing on it in 2006. Glutathione is the most critical molecule in life. It's just as critical as oxygen. If we take glutathione away, every oxygen-based life dies within a few minutes. So that's every tree, plant, seaweed, fish, birds, animals, and of course, humans. It's that critical. It performs in the human body, it performs 400 functions we know about, and probably another 1,000 we don't know about. 15 of those functions are critical for life. For example, there'd be no oxygen transfer without it. When your body makes hemoglobin, the whole purpose of the hemoglobin molecule is to bind to oxygen and deliver oxygen. Problem is, it has the wrong electromagnetic charge. So instead of binding the oxygen, it's like trying to bring north poles of magnets together. Can't do it. So it has to be reduced to a +2, and when it does, then it binds to oxygen. But the sole reduction agent for hemoglobin is glutathione. Well, that's just one of its 15 critical roles. So without glutathione, there's no oxygen transfer, but it is the primary protector of the immune system. When you have adequate levels of glutathione, your T cells reproduce explosively in response to a bacterial or viral insult. When you have low levels of glutathione, your T cells reproduce much more sluggishly, and the bacteria or the virus can end up winning. And how fast they reproduce is dependent solely on glutathione. Glutathione is the master antioxidant. And what that means, every cell in our body is attacked 10 to 20,000 times a day by free radicals. And the body counters, a free radical is a scavenger. It's a thief. It wants to steal an electron from the cell. And when it does, it damages the cell, causes oxidative stress, which accelerates the aging of the cell, the aging of our tissues, of our organs, of our muscles, of our bones. And it creates inflammation inside the cell. Inflammation is our mortal enemy. Well, the body counters that with an antioxidant, because antioxidants will donate one of their electrons to the free radical. When they do that, sequesters or neutralizes the free radical. And problem is that all antioxidants except glutathione are monofocus. We have a whole spectrum of free radicals, different sources, different compositions, different structures, and all antioxidants except glutathione are monofocus, which means they will take out one free radical, type of free radical, but can't even touch the others. So vitamin C might take out that one, vitamin E might take out that one, superoxide dismutase might take out that one, but that none of them take out all of them. Well, glutathione is called the master antioxidant because, like the master key to a hotel that can open any door in the hotel, glutathione isn't monofocus. So it sequesters and neutralizes any free radical, regardless of source, composition, or structure. And so it's a miracle molecule. The other thing it does that's miraculous, once an antioxidant discharges that electron, it's like a six-shooter that has just discharged its only bullet in the chamber. What good is a gun if there's no bullets, right?
Yeah.
Well, the good thing about vitamin E and vitamin C, those two antioxidants can actually be recharged, recycled, or reloaded, if you want to use that analogy, up to 3 to 5 times. Well, the recycling agent for vitamin C and vitamin E is glutathione. But it's the miracle molecule because it's the only antioxidant that recycles itself. And it does it so many times, science can't put a number on it. I've seen numbers ranging from 30,000 times to 300,000 times. And so it's like a gun that keeps producing its own bullets to fight the enemy. So it is amazing that way. It is the sole protector of the mitochondrial DNA. Why is that important? Because as long as the mitochondrial DNA remains intact, the cell can't mutate. And however, the way the glutathione protects the mitochondrial DNA, what breaks the mitochondrial DNA is the chemical load in our cells. We all carry around at least 200 industrial chemicals in our body, and they aren't meant to be there, and they do break down the mitochondrial DNA. Well, glutathione is the detoxifier of the cell. It has this real sticky sulfhydryl molecule that's like fly paper or those sticky spider traps, sticks to the chemical and then escorts it out of the cell. And by lowering the toxic load, the chemical load inside the cell, the mitochondrial DNA is preserved much longer. Now, that's the science behind it. What is it? How does it affect us? I mean, what are the tangible effects? Well, it's how we go through every day. Do we end up with brain fog? Do we end during the day? Do we get fatigued physically or mentally? How fast do we wear out in the day? How long can we perform? What's our stamina? How fast can we recover from exercise? How fast can we recover from an injury or an illness? All of that is dependent on glutathione. So it is the most important molecule there is in terms of human health, performance, and longevity, and how we go through life every day, whether you're a soccer mom or a world-class athlete. Glutathione supplementation will change everything. Now, the problem is supplementation sounds easy. Go to any health food store and buy some glutathione capsules. When they hit your gut, that sulfhydryl molecule that's like flypaper breaks off instantly. And at that point, the cell cannot, or the glutathione cannot be accepted into the cell. It's deformed. So it's broken, it's worthless. And you just either pee it, sweat it, or poop it out. And however, so we can't just get it through the gut. What we've done that's novel is that we have nano-sized glutathione using a proprietary technology for nano-sizing. The rest of the world, when you nano-size particles, they all clump together in solution and you separate them. Now you've got to encapsulate them in something, whether it be a lipid, which is a fat, a chemical, or what we do that's novel is we have found a way to create ultra pure water that's about 40% more pure than a hospital IV. And you create water matrices that encapsulate those particles. That allows several advantages. Number one, we can keep the particle size much smaller than you can with the lipid. Number two, the cells are quick to accept water and slow to accept fats or chemicals. Number three, the water delivery system doesn't leave any residue in the cell. Fats aren't water soluble. They get into a cell, they stay in a cell. And so that was our focus, is creating a technology that could do that. What brought me out of retirement is we successfully did it. And that allows us to create a nanoglutathione delivery system for both glutathione, cysteine, and we can apply that to any number of different ingredients. For example, our skincare, we've also nano-sized collagen and hyaluronic acid and 4 other peptides, as well as the glutathione and cysteine. We've nano-sized curcumin in our supplement. And so all of that, now when you nano-size, you not only get a much more effective delivery, but you radically increase surface area contact. If we took a soccer ball and made it out of plastic and crushed it flat, we'd have about 1.3 square feet of surface area. But if we took that same mass and broke it into nanoparticles, 80 nanometers in diameter, you would have enough surface area to cover 102 acres, or about 72 soccer fields, same mass. Now, if we take it down to 10 nanometers, it goes to thousands of acres of surface material, of surface area contact. The reason that's important is because most biochemical activity takes place on the surface of the membrane. Now, our particle size is small enough to where we even get into the membranes. The average cell size on a human is about 100 nanometers, and the pores in those cells are in the membranes run around 10 nanometers. So anyway, we see things that nobody else in history has ever seen in every aspect. And that's what we had. I knew it would be life-changing For most people, it would be radically improving how they get through their day. Athletes, it would mean world records and a level of performance that they had never experienced before. Because we delay the onset and progression of fatigue, and because there's no side effect, an athlete in an 8-hour event can swish before the event, and then eight times during the event, and then again after the event. And the result is they can keep from going into a deficit that they go into on an endurance event. So I knew it would be life-changing, but in the third world, we're going to be life-saving. And mainly because of how much more robust we can enhance the immune system to. We can create a foundation that allows those T cells and B cells that are the assassins to reproduce much more rapidly, and therefore not be defeated by the viral or bacterial insult. So that's what we have. And now I'd love to answer any questions you have.
Wow. So essentially it's the delivery system that is the crucial thing here, because I didn't know there were pills that you could take, so that's a new one for me. I knew you could take it via IV.
Now let me say one thing about IV. IV, I just a few weeks ago was invited to speak to the World Congress of Anti-Aging Doctors, which were 250 doctors in Mexico City, all of them which give IV glutathione. When you give IV glutathione, you're really not introducing glutathione to the cell. You are introducing glutathione in an IV solution to the bloodstream, but the blood then breaks that apart into the 3 amino acids, glycine, glutamic acid, and L-cysteine. That's what gets delivered to the cell, and then as they migrate into the cytoplasm, they're reconstituted, rebuilt into glutathione. So it's a very inefficient method. The half-life of glutathione, once it's in the cell, is only 90 minutes. So you get about a 6-hour bang out of an IV. So unless you're going to get IVs daily, you're not going to see any type of consistent improvement. Whereas with swishing, anytime I feel a drop mentally or physically, or if I have an issue that I'm really trying to effectively mitigate, I can swish more often. So we have endurance athletes that will swish every hour of an event. And it's a whole new experience for them because they do not go in. These are world-class athletes, but they do not go into a deficit, an energy deficit. And they've never performed without going into that deficit. So when we keep them from going into that deficit, here, let me just message my wife who is calling. Can I call you later there? So IV isn't all it's, now every one of these doctors go ahead and administer IV. It's so much revenue, they won't stop. So I don't blame them for that. But if a person comes in once a week, once a month, between IVs, they can get them on swish. And then they, instead of going like that, it will go like that. And then it'll stay at a nice level as they swish their way through in between IVs. Most of them did not know that they weren't delivering glutathione to the cells. Most of them did not know the half-life of glutathione in the cell is only 90 minutes. And so anyway, but you're right, IV glutathione is an alternative. It's like riding a bicycle uphill in high gear. A lot of pedaling, little slow progress.
Gotcha.
So that's the truth.
Gotcha.
If you want to.
So it's basically a delivery system which is not effective. This is the effective.
I don't want to tell you a lie. It is effective for 6 hours.
Yep.
But if you have Parkinson's and you have no balance and you get an infusion of IV of glutathione, for about 6 hours, you'll have balance back.
Yeah.
And you'll have a little bit of that balance the next morning. But then over that day later, your balance is going to go right back to where it is. Because the half-life doesn't mean it's all gone after 90 minutes. It means every 90 minutes, you have half as much as you had at the beginning of the 90 minutes.
Gotcha.
So okay. Okay.
Right.
I don't want to give a wrong perception.
No, neither do I. So, but with this, it lasts weeks and weeks and weeks because it reproduces. Is that the difference?
What it does, you can do it as often as you need. So I swish once a day. Now, yesterday, I knew I was going to have a pretty grueling day, so I swished. I normally swish in the morning. I do it for about 2 minutes because I'm putting my contacts in and letting it. It also absorbs through the venous cavity under your tongue. So I put my contacts in. I do a number of things, and then I go ahead and swallow at the end of that. Usually, for me, it's about 2 minutes. Well, yesterday I knew I was going to have to get through some difficulties in the day. So about an hour and a half after I did that initial one, I did a second one. But that's not my norm. Now, I just found out I have a situation in my shoulder, and so I'm going to, for the next week, I'm going to swish 4, 5, 6 times a day. And I think I'm going to see some pretty wonderful stuff happen.
Yeah.
So it's just as you need it.
Well, I'm doing it about 6 times a day. I'm going through.
Wow.
Yeah. And I just do that. I don't measure it or anything like that. I just. And
okay, but you are swishing for a full 30 seconds or longer, right?
Minimum. Sometimes 4 minutes, 5 minutes.
And you're holding it under your tongue.
Yes, under the tongue.
Counts.
Oh, yeah, of course. I would never just straight swallow it. No.
Right. No. Okay, good. You're doing it right then.
Yeah. So, and I found it's helped with my sleep. In fact, I feel sleepy, not tired, but I feel sleepy a lot more, which is good because it means I'm relaxed. I'm a highly.
How long have you been on it?
About 3 months.
Oh, okay. Well, did you go through any detox?
A little bit, yes.
Okay. Because that big of dosage early on, because we have world-class athletes do that. They'll do a lot of swishing in a day. And so much so that they typically go through a detox. Detox can last for anywhere from a day to 2 weeks, depending on what your body has gone through prior to the beginning to swish. But most people don't detox. I'd say that's about maybe 1 in 10, 1 in 20. And the detox is a good thing. The liver uses glutathione to detoxify itself. So every liver cell, the day you're born, has 1,000 times more glutathione than any other cell in your body. But like everything else, it gets taxed and your glutathione levels decline starting at the age of 20 by 10 to 15% per decade. And consequently, the liver doesn't have enough glutathione to do what it's been designed to do. So when all of a sudden it gets more glutathione, guess what? It does what it's supposed to do, and it starts to get rid of some of those chemical toxins.
Yeah, gotcha. I'm kind of addicted to the immediate after effect of it. I just brighten up.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I just feel like integrated. My whole body is more one. That's how I feel. That's the best way I can explain it. I just feel it integrates me, just interconnects everything. All the cells just like speak to each other. I was struggling with dizziness, tiredness, skin itch. I have been for 15 years. My whole body, violent.
And how old are you?
59.
Oh, well, you're a baby.
Yeah, so I had 15 years of itching, and I'm pretty sure that this is helping now with my skin itch. All my audience knows about my skin itch problem.
Well, let me just tell you, spray anytime you have an itch, because I had an uncle, he was in an assisted living. He was 95. And when I went to visit him, his wife said, tell him about your itch. And he says, and he pulls up his shirt and he's got all this redness. And he said, I itch so bad all the time and nothing the doctors give me will deal with it. I took our spray, I sprayed the red areas, and in about 40 seconds, his wife said, well, and he said, it's not itching. And we've seen things like with poison ivy and poison oak, which can make you itch for 3 or 4 days. I had one associate take this, pour it into a spray bottle, because this is actually stronger in terms of glutathione. And he had poison oak, and he's had it before where it lasts for 3 to 4 days. And the itching was gone in about half an hour.
Yeah.
And all the redness went down, everything. So it's whatever you need.
Right. So you can actually make a spray out of this as well, right? So this is...
Yeah. If you've got an issue that you really want to nail down, that's one way you can do it. Right.
Now, the vitamin C, which is also in here, is that if you were to swish normally, would you get sufficient vitamin C as well for the day or not?
We didn't put a lot of vitamin C. The vitamin C in here is a cofactor. Our focus is glutathione. Now, at some point down the road, we're going to have a lot of vitamins that we're going to nanosize. For example, when you get vitamin D, if you take 5,000 international units in a capsule of vitamin D, only 5% is actually absorbed. 95% comes out is waste. And when we nanosize it, we'll be able to deliver a much higher bioavailability and cellular utilization than you get out of a capsule. But there's a lot of things we're working on. But the most bang for the buck, if you could impact anything, you can't beat glutathione. Glutathione is just your body's miracle molecule.
Yep.
I agree. I agree.
For sure.
And that's definitely a huge bet. Maybe talk, Stephen, I know you guys are working on the weight loss nano-sized product. How's that coming in development?
Well, we've done 38 iterations that didn't work. So like Edison said, when he tried 400 different filaments that didn't work, he said, I'm not failing, I'm getting closer and closer to something that will work. That's not, right now, what we really want to get out is the story of glutathione, because glutathione is life-changing and it is life-saving for people. It literally can save lives. And so that's our primary message, but we're working on nanosizing other things, but we want to get that story out. And so we won't be introducing any new products this year, but we will be introducing 1 or 2 new products probably in 2023. We're always in development. We're not standing still, but we know, I mean, honestly, if the world was full of polio and you had a polio vaccine, you wouldn't be working on weight loss.
Can I ask a question, Steve?
Of course.
Okay, basically, now I heard somebody talking the other day that had nothing to do with glutathione or anything like that, but you're talking about how the glutathione is what facilitates the utilization of oxygen. And this person was saying that the brain uses about 20% of the oxygen that we take into our body. Is that correct in your estimation?
That's correct, but I'll tell you how it works with the brain. Brain cells, like heart cells have a mitochondria is a little motor, and motors require fuel. Well, mitochondria makes its own fuel, adenosine triphosphate, but then it creates an exhaust, and that exhaust, like picture a bus, going from a stop and to go when the light turns green, that exhaust creates oxidative stress. That's what glutathione is really dealing with. And your heart cells create more oxidative stress than any other organ, but the brain cells aren't too far behind. And so when it can get more glutathione, it radically reduces the oxidative stress, which in turn reduces the inflammation inside the cell. And it's intercellular inflammation, not intracellular inflammation. So, but we do get rid of brain fog very quickly. I mean, that's one thing every athlete loves, is they end up with almost a tunnel vision of focus when they're in an event, and they credit the glutathione to that, and rightfully so.
Makes sense. Maybe talk about, because I know you talked about that glutathione really helps with toxins, but also too, there's tons of studies about heavy metals like mercury and aluminum.
Yeah. Glutathione is a chelator of heavy metals. And a friend of mine that's a world-renowned author, his books sold in the tens and tens of millions. I think over 100 million books. He was very, very sick. He went to Harvard. They determined his problem was mercury poisoning. They tried every chelation method that they could and didn't see any drop. He got on one of my older products that was one of my conventional products, which was N-acetylcysteine based. And in 30 days, his mercury levels were back to normal. Wow. So now there's some heavy metals that glutathione isn't as effective with as it would be with others. So gadolinium is what they use in IV when they want to take a picture of it using MRI. That's what they put in your vessels. And most people's bodies get rid of it. Some people don't get rid of it. And a dear friend of mine didn't get rid of it, and our product didn't do a thing for it. So that's one heavy metal that we didn't do. But mercury, lead, arsenic, copper, cadmium, some of those are good in in small amounts, but in too much, then they're not. And glutathione is very effective in chelating those. What
about aluminum as well?
I can't remember. I can't speak to that. I could search.
Beryllium? Beryllium?
No, aluminum.
Yeah, I'm asking about beryllium and barium.
Yeah. What you would have to do is Google search glutathione and then put that in your search team.
Okay.
And add the word chelating, and you'll see a study on it. Right. And either it did or it didn't. That's what I do. And guess what? Glutathione impacts almost anything you can put into that search bar.
Right. And there's so many thousands of tests. I think it's the most studied thing. It's overtaken vitamin C studies, right?
It's more than double vitamin C. There's 169,000 on glutathione. There's about 72,000 on vitamin C.
That's the closest second. So it kind of gives you an idea of how much people are looking at glutathione, and basically doing lots of published studies on it. You can pretty much put in glutathione in any challenge, and you'll see if there's any studies that substantiate, how beneficial it might be for them.
Yeah. I tell people, if you ask your doctor about, here's the responses doctors give. Have you ever heard of glutathione? Response number 1, is that related to glucosamine? Response number 2, no, I haven't. Response number 3, which is about half the doctors, yeah, I think it's an antioxidant. I think I read about it in microbiology in medical school. Okay, ask a microbiologist, what do you think about glutathione? And here's what will happen. Glutathione, are you kidding me? Glutathione's everything. Oh my gosh, it does this, it does. And they'll start, you won't be able to shut them up for an hour. And these are guys who usually aren't very charismatic and very talkative. But that's what they know about glutathione. Medicinal chemists know about glutathione. Biochemists know about glutathione. But a molecular biologist, he's in the meat. In fact, one molecular biologist, a guy named Dean Jones at Emory University, many years ago, was speaking to a symposium on cancer prevention. And he said, if we want, I'll quote him almost verbatim, if we really want to prevent cancer, we must find ways to increase glutathione in the cells.
Oh.
Then he said, and I'm quoting him verbatim, he said, let me explain. He said, 95% of all cancers gain traction in the body when the mitochondrial DNA is broken. What breaks the mitochondrial DNA is the chemical load in the cell. Glutathione is the primary detoxifier of the cell. So if we can raise glutathione levels in the cell, we lower the chemical load and thereby protecting the integrity of the mitochondrial DNA for a longer time. So I just quoted him verbatim. Now he's talking about glutathione in general, has nothing to do with our product, but that is what they had observed. And so it is a miracle molecule. Problem has always been delivery. And that's what we have focused on. And we now have a delivery alternative that is both not only efficient, but incredibly effective.
And affordable. Stephen,
Yes.
I applaud you, because I know many companies that I've seen in networking in my 37 years, they would be charging, if they had our product, they would charge $100 to $150 a month for each.
Yep. Right.
And I applaud you, because I know that your focus is to help mankind at its greatest way. And I will tell you, not just in third world countries is this going to be life-saving. This is life-saving in first world countries because of the beautiful impact and the ease. Because you have such low dosage, it's really being very easily absorbed, and there's no, toxicity to the body in this regard. It's just absorbed and utilized. It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, I cannot applaud you enough for keeping it affordable.
Yeah. Well, we did that on purpose, and we manufacture our own so we can keep the costs down. And we wanted number one, we want a price point that blows away any potential competition. We got it. Number two, we wanted a price point that would be affordable to the masses. Then we wanted a compensation plan that was generous on the bottom levels, not just the top levels. Because I have spent time in the Philippines, and those people worked their butts off for nothing. And I've seen the difference that a good compensation plan can make in the third world. And it's the difference between having a dinner tonight or not having a dinner. It's the difference between my family sleeping on concrete or my family sleeping on a bed. And that's just as important to me as what our diamonds experience in terms of a full-time career. I love our diamonds. God has brought people of tremendous integrity into this organization, but I don't want to stop there. And so we designed it. We worked with the field to design one that would work in that way at all levels.
Exactly what we have, which has been brilliant. I can't say to it enough. I mean, normally, Stephen, I can pick apart a comp plan, no problem. I'll see the flaws. I couldn't. And that also got me excited, besides our products, because finally, I've got a real home where I know that everyday people can make above average income to what they would in any other nutritional format company. So, hats off to you for doing that, because I know there's divine intention with what you're doing from all levels, whether it's finance, spiritual, physical. So I understand, where you're coming from. And
Paige, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but because of our time, but Paige said there's some questions that have come in over the internet. I'm happy to answer any questions we have.
All right, let's have a look at those. What do we got? Questions, YouTube chat. What foods do you avoid eating when you take glutathione?
You don't have to avoid any foods.
Okay.
You eat for your health, and glutathione supplements, and glutathione doesn't counter anything. It's fortunately, we have glutathione as a detoxifying agent, can make up for some bad eating, but it can't take somebody on a carb-rich diet and make them skinny. But you don't have to avoid things while you're on this. You know, we tell people, anybody that's on medications, serious medications like for heart or blood pressure, wisdom would say anytime you put anything in your body, a supplement included, check with your doctor. And but I would advise that on anything, just like we advise it for exercise. I had a company called Total Gym, and Total Gym is still on the air. It's in its 26th year. We've sold billions and billions of dollars worth. But we always put 3 or 4 times in our shows, we would say, consult a doctor before you start any exercise program. And if a person is on medications that are vital to their heart, blood pressure, and so on, it never hurts to check with your doctor.
Nice. The other question is, what would cause the body to get rid of the MRI dye?
Your body's built to get rid of it, but some people genetically don't do it. A dear friend of mine, hers did not do it, and it made her very, 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 very sick. But she would be that 1 in 10,000 or 1 in 1,000. You know, you still need the MRI. That's how they detect the problems in our body. So you don't want to say, oh, I'm going to avoid the MRI. No, you don't.
Right.
You know?
What about dental surgery when they put local anesthesia in you? And I always get sick when I go to the dentist with that for a day. My stomach just is in pain. All the poisons just stick there to my solar plexus. So is it good for? It would be good for that as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Detoxifying is detoxifying.
Yep.
Glutathione is your body's primary detoxifier. So.
Beautiful. Wonderful. All right, guys. Well, look, we got a lot of beautiful information out. We're at the top of the hour nearly, and so we can just finish with what we'd like to close off with. I would just like to say, guys, that you can go to my channel, Mr. Astrotheology, and you can also go to the Syncretism Academy YouTube channel there, or you can go to my website, universaltruthschool.com, and there you will see my New Me affiliate tab. Click on there, and Ray, what would you recommend people get when they sign up first thing?
Sure. Well, I mean, depends on budget. The beautiful thing about New Me is they have different packages that people can start with as a customer and as a member. So what is very popular for a lot of people that become a member, which costs nothing to join at this moment in time, when you choose a welcome pack, you can get a little 6-pack where they give you a 7th bottle free and allows you to get the shipping and the tax pretty much covered because of the free complimentary bottle. Some people do purchase larger. There is also a $100 package, gives you 1 of each. And you can also, as a customer, purchase a little 6-pack as well. If you do it as a preferred customer, which means you're on auto ship every month, 2nd month or 3rd month, you can take advantage also of the free bottle of product as well. So it just depends on somebody's budget. We even have people that get started with a 1,000-pack and they get 5 bottles of product complimentary. They get 25 bottles instead of 20. So lots of packages available and lots of reasons why this makes perfect sense. If you do have any challenges, start off slow. And like Stephen said, you could see a little bit of detox. Lots and lots of water will be very helpful for that. And you will find over time, you can increase and spread it out during the course of the day and get extra benefit from it and help you with your health challenges. And I know that, Stephen, you know, we really appreciate that you've taken pretty much an hour with us today. And I know how busy you are, and we're so grateful for you and for Aaron and Ryan. What you're doing for humanity and having NUMI available is such a blessing to all of us. I've never experienced such profound wellness with people that I've shared these beautiful products with. And we're very excited. I really got excited when you mentioned maybe a vitamin mineral nano amino acid product. That would be exciting to have something in a nutritional capacity down the road. But I know right now, of course, the main focus and the best bang for the buck is really helping to affect change with regards to the glutathione, especially since we lose that, you know, by 10 to 15% every 10 years after the age of 20, you know.
Beautiful.
Any final thoughts, Stephen, you'd like to leave everybody with?
Who were you talking to me?
Yes, sorry. Yes, Stephen.
Oh.
Any final thoughts?
Yeah, you can pre-order my book at Amazon or any place you want that you normally get books from. They ship on August 16th, so that's 20 days from now.
Yay.
Beautiful.
Fine ordered, yeah.
And I will have the links, guys, the links where to get this from my affiliate link there at the bottom in the description of the video on my channel and on the Syncretism Academy channel. Stephen, thank you so much for being so generous with your time and for being the individual that you are, so inspirational to millions of people. You've blessed many, many people, as does God and as did Jesus, whom you love so much and whom I love very, very, very much all my life. And so thank you so kindly for the good work that you do, brother. And hopefully one day down the track we'll have you on again, because I'm really backing this product. I'm backing it in everything I do. So there's a lot of people that are going to know about it just because of my promoting it. So I hope we can have you one day down the track.
Oh, you can have me whenever you ask. Just call Ray. Ray knows how to get me.
For sure. Until then, take care and many, many blessings, brother. Thank you.
Same to you, dear brother. We'll see
Thank you very much, Stephen. And I'll
Thanks,
close
Steve.
with my phone number, so that way to help Santos out, I will facilitate any questions over and above. So you can reach me at 647
I don't have a pin. Just text me.
Okay.
Okay. I'll see ya.
So,
All right. Thanks, Stephen. God bless. So for everybody here, certainly if you want to reach out to me, if you have any questions about the different ways you can get started, no question is a silly question. So you can reach me at 647-331-8751. I do this because this is the most important nutritionals I've ever seen for wellness. And I appreciate Santos and Sheldon and want to be of service to all of you. So certainly do not hesitate to reach out. Again, any question is not a silly question. It's your question that matters to you and that matters to us. Correct, Santos?
absolutely, brother. Absolutely. That's what we're all here for, to support each other, help each other, bless each other, love each other, and enjoy each other's company and have a beautiful life. And that's what we deserve. We deserve
Amen
it.
to that.
And we
Amen to
deserve good products and good friends. So, yeah, that was a very enjoyable hour. I thank you kindly, Ray, for doing everything like this. And we've got... in 2 weeks, we'll be doing the same.
Do it again.
Sheldon, I appreciate you, brother, because you're the one that got me on this. And you
Troublemaker.
and you persisted. You kept telling me, look, there's international sportsmen that are breaking their records, you know, in their 60s on this. And I'm like, right. And then he kept sending me videos. All the doctors, Valdez, who's that Mexican doctor, Valdez? Then he sent me Stephen who we just had and his information and bio and stuff like that. And the more, and I just love glutathiones. I'm a big glutathione guy, guys. So, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, some of the trouble that the troublemaker brings is good trouble once in a while.
Yes. Good blessings instead of troubles.
Yeah, right. Okay.
All right,
Thank
guys.
you for being you, Sheldon. Much appreciated.
And thank you, audience. Syncretus, many blessings. In half an hour, I will be doing my live lecture at the Academy, so stay tuned. All subscription people who are subscribed to the Academy. Take care, guys. See you in 2 weeks.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.